Hi, I want to go over the instructions for our work that's going to be due next week on Matthew 16:24. This is sort of the locus within Matthew's gospel for what the meaning of disciples is. What does it mean to become a disciple of Jesus? And so what I've asked you to do is to interpret this iconic statement that Jesus makes in Matthew 16:24. If anyone would come after me, let him or her deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Notice this is in a context. It's in the context of 16:21 to 28. So all I'm asking you to do is do an interpretation. I want you to show me what you've learned about how to do an interpretation through this class. So here's some specific instructions to kind of help you get started on this. Number one, the context for this, or the segment for this, is going to be 16:21 to 28. So notice what that's going to be. It's going to be Jesus' announcement. From that time on, Jesus began to tell his disciples that he had to go to Jerusalem and the rest of it. So we have that turning point in the gospel. Notice the context of that. We also want you then to focus heavily on 16:24 within that whole context. So when you're thinking of your detailed observation, obviously start with 16:24, but read it within these broader verses so you can help to understand what Jesus is saying in 16:24 in light of what he says around it. So observe that carefully. And then, of course, also use in context the broader Gospel of Matthew. Where else in the Gospel, what other places and context can you use to illuminate what's happening in Matthew 16:24? Those are your levels of context. Now, what else can you look at when you're in trying to interpret this? Key phrases. Make sure you've defined clearly what does it mean to deny self, what does it mean to take up a cross, what does it mean to follow me? Matthew's gospel can help you to do that, but make sure you understand that. Perhaps there's something here, other determinants that you can use. I mean, in context, keywords, maybe historical background. Is there something that you should look up? I'm not going to give hints, but what are some words in 16:24 that might have information from a historical background perspective? Again, you can use other determinants from the list of determinants that we have for the class to add additional depth, and of course end with dialogue with commentaries. Make sure you're using at least 2 good commentaries. Again, I need to see that R.T. France book that you have. That was one of the required texts, and you could use another commentary in addition to it. If nothing else, at least look at Jack Kingsbury's book, Matthew, a Story. But obviously there's other resources that you can look at as well. And then finally, write up a final synthesis in which you write your final take on what the interpretation is in light of all these other determinants. Again, push yourself on this. This is a great passage, and I'm just going to say, I think 16:24 is life-changing. So put the time in, allow the text to say what it wants to say, write up your results, and you'll be in a really good place. Thanks a lot, and let me know if you have any questions.